So thanks to Bernie, democratic socialism has gained traction in a way that people just never thought it would here in America. And that's got some people a little...
And in fact, that socialism seems to breed thuggery.
Yeah. It's complete anarchy.
Well, if you vote for a socialist, you might get socialism.
So, to promote sanity here in the Midwest, we're going to learn a little bit about the Democratic Socialists of America right here in Kansas City. More than anything, 2020 taught us that if we want change in America, we're just going to have to stand up and demand it. And the Democratic Socialists of America have stood side by side time and time again with Black and brown communities in America, and they're doing the same thing right here in Kansas City. So the first thing that I learned about the DSA here in Kansas City is if you're a member, you're probably a pretty normal person. Just kidding, I'm sure that guy's normal too. The Kansas City chapter of the DSA was founded in 2017, and I wanted to know how they're helping people around the city. So I sat down with their treasurer, Kiel. Kiel is in his 30s. He goes to work every day, and he has a sweet and adorable dog. Nothing scary so far. The main goal of the Kansas City chapter of the DSA is to increase democratic socialism.
It's basically, on a local level, it wants more democratic socialism in the city. So within workplaces, city government, state governments. So like, you also want the working class to not be exploited. You're trying to get them away from exploitation. It's kind of the big deal.
And even inside of the DSA, they're working to promote more democratic socialism.
And the goal in it is supposed to recognize one another. So that's always a statement when you first join. The point is to make sure everybody gets listened to and they feel like their perspective is heard and it's not diminished or discredited. I mean, it's supposed, if you're going to believe in socialism, the idea is to respect and value one another. So we try to do that in our space when we organize and in our general chat and how we talk to each other.
That's awesome. Kiel and other Democratic Socialists really credit Bernie Sanders, AOC, and other progressive people for really bringing attention to the fact that being a Democratic Socialist is not a scary thing. So please, is it time to be scared? Step back from the ledge, people. I asked Kiel if he could take a minute and think about one of the biggest misunderstandings about the DSA and kind of talk a little bit about how he deals with being confronted with that.
A lot of people, I think, go when you say, well, that just means I have the same as everybody else. Everybody gets the same thing. You know, you have the same house, so I'm gonna come take your house. That's a common one. You know, oh, you're un-American, or you want to just sit around and get free money and do nothing.
Even though the DSA has really gotten a bad rap here in America, Kiel says things are getting better.
I think it's been really good, especially the standards have been really popular in AOC. So they kind of help bring it on a national level. I think the problem is before we were talking, they didn't know where to start. So they're like, well, now we have a place we can start and talk about people within socialism without kind of the stigma that goes with talking about it.
You know, people are just triggered when they hear the word socialism. It doesn't really matter if there's a Democratic in front of it or not. People are just uncomfortable with the word. But the teacher in me maintains that people are probably triggered because they just don't understand what it means. So let's have a little verbiage chat. That's such a good word. We just don't use it anymore. I'm going to put on my teacher hat.
Do you know which one of these is my teacher's hat? Do you know which one is like the teacher hat?
And give us about 3 definitions, and hopefully that'll help us like lower our trigger warning signs, right? Right. All right, guys, we've got 3 words and 3 definitions. Let's go. First up on our verbiage chat is capitalism, a word that you all should be very familiar with. Capitalism is a system whereby goods and services are produced by workers but owned by companies. And these goods and services are based on a supply and demand model. Next on the list is the not so scary word, socialism. Socialism is an economic system whereby the people who make and produce the goods also own and controls what happens to them. Any profits that are made are shared between the owners of a company and the workers who produced it. And finally, we come to democratic socialism. Democratic socialism is a system where the government and the economy are run democratically, with workers having an equal say and with the needs of the many outweighing profit or political gain.
The teacher's hat is officially off.
Before COVID, the DSA was constantly advocating for people in Kansas City. Mostly they did this in the form of raising money, whether they were raising money for bailout funds for people who were stuck in jail even though they didn't deserve that, or they were advocating for the Hispanic community. They were really trying to identify the people that need help the most in the city and make sure that they got it. I'm not seeing how that's bad for Kansas City. So far, the DSA 2, people who don't really understand the DSA 0.
Kyle did a great job summing up the basic goals of the DSA here in KC.
If Jobs for Justice will reach out and be like, oh, we have like a strike for a union, can you come join us? We'll show up in support for solidarity. KC tenants, we're working with them. You're trying to like, at a base level, meet everybody's needs.
The DSA has been working hard in Kansas City, specifically in the Hispanic community, to help people avoid deportations. They've been working on ballot initiatives. They've been standing in strike lines. I mean, the DSA in Kansas City, ooh, that's a lot. The DSA in KC has decided that they are here to stay and that they're here to help the people who need them the most. You know, when Americans hear democratic socialism, they obviously put that in a historical context. They think about things that have happened with the word socialism and socialist people in the past, and I think that's totally fair. We need to make sure that we examine history, says the teacher. We need to make sure that we examine history so that we do not repeat it. I also think that taking a fresh look at what democratic socialism is, which is not socialism, I think taking a fresh look at that really will open people's eyes, especially when you look at what these chapters are doing, not just in Kansas City, but there's chapters all over America. Chances are, if you live in a major city in America, there's a chapter of the DSA that you can go to and learn about. And so this is where I want to invite you to learn a little bit more about the DSA. You can go to their website and look up specific chapters and what chapters are doing in different cities. But more importantly, if you are watching this in Kansas City, you need to click on the Kansas City chapter. If you are looking to get involved and to help people around the community, you will definitely find it on their site. You can also donate if you just want to be a person who supports in that way. You can kind of get an idea of some of their online offerings in terms of learning how to be more of an advocate at your job or more of an advocate where you live in your community, just for people who are struggling. Like, we really need to help people who are struggling, and Kansas City has a lot of those. We have tons of organizations that the DSA works with, like KC Tenants, like Jobs with Justice, like our Rev KC Mo. I mean, what we really need to do is make sure that we pay attention to all of these organizations and all of the things that they have to offer for our city. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, thank you so much. Don't forget to hit the like button if you like it. Make a comment. Let me know what's going on with the DSA in your community. We really need to keep this conversation going so that we can have a better understanding. Bye-bye, guys.